Hello everyone and welcome to another Transformers review with me, Ferris. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers War for Cybertron trilogy Earthrise Doubledealer figure. And if it looks a bit odd in the box, it's because I've already had him out and had a bit of a play with him. I wasn't sure if Simon wanted me to do a review of this guy, so I took him out and played with him, and then I forgot to ask before, so but yeah, that's why when I move it around it's going to be knocking about in there. So right, so as always, let's have a look around the box. So as you can see, it's the Earthrise packaging. Have you seen it yet, the Netflix series? Yeah, it was alright, wasn't it? Yeah, it was alright. Anyway, going off topic a bit there. So yes, and you can see he's a nice window package in there. For mint in box collectors, you get a good view of the figure there, which is rather nice. And his name is Doubledealer, and he's a Decepticon or an Autobot, or whatever you want, I guess. He's a mercenary in this new thing, isn't he? Yeah. Right, anyway, there's the gorgeous artwork down the side that I always love, and that thankfully has gone over into Kingdom as well. There's all the usual product shots on the back. I got mine from ID Toys, and they must have got theirs from China somewhere, so that's why that sticker is there. And then there's the Earthrise print on the side. Usual stuff on the top and the bottom. So yeah, always nice packaging for Earthrise. Right, it's not going to take much for me to get him out, but there will be a lot of crinkling, so I'll pop him out and then we'll come back to look at the figure more in depth. Right, so here's Doubledealer out of his box, and as always, before we take a close look at the figure, we'll have a look at what he comes with. So it comes with a new map part, and I don't know where the little tech spec reader is. Doesn't seem to be in the box, but I'm pretty sure that without needing it, that's Caminus. So that's where Windblade comes from, isn't it? I think it's Windblade. Anyway, there you go. So there's the map part. So that's another bit. And yes, I am collecting those. I like all silly stuff like that. He comes with instructions, and they folded them differently. And this bothers me. It shouldn't, but it does. All the other ones are folded to like that size. Yeah, so it shouldn't bother me, but it does. And their instructions, you know, sort of same as they've been for a while. So there's that, and then you get a whole bunch of other stuff. So you get the missile piece that sits on his shoulder, or you can put it on the gun if you want on the rest of this. And there's the rest of it. That piece is just all moulded in grey with this little black clip piece. There's no other colour on that at all. At least on this bit you get a bit of colour. Some red highlights there, and there's some blue there. I mean, it's not a lot, but at least there's something on it. So that's I don't know what they're doing with paint on accessories these days. They just seem to have given up. You get this little thing, and we'll show you where these all go in a bit. No paint on that at all. It's just moulded in black plastic. I have no idea what this is meant to be. It looks like a flash from from like a box brownie camera or something. I'm sure somebody knows what it is, but I haven't got a clue. So he's got one of them, and then he's got two lots of these little missile cluster things Again, these are just all done in black. It's moulded in black plastic. So there's those. And then he comes with this sort of tail feather thingy. Yeah, we'll get to that anyway when we get to the different modes, because he's a triple changer. So we'll get to that. And that's all the bits that he comes with. So let's get to the figure itself. So I'm going to move this a little bit closer. There we go. So yeah, so here's Doubledealer himself. Now, pardon me, if you've seen any of my other reviews of these sorts of figures, you will know that I don't go by the Western continuity on these. I go by the Headmaster's cartoons, or, you know, any of the 3 G1 Japanese cartoons. So this one is Super God Master Force, and in that his name is Double Clouder. So if I do refer to him as Double Clouder a couple of times, apologies in advance. It's because I don't know this character as Doubledealer. I don't know anything about him in the Western continuity, but I know who he is in Super God Master Force. So as he was in Super God Master Force, I will just give you a quick background on this character. He is the last of the Godmasters to be found. His human is called Clouder, and he's an American mid-teens, I guess, tech wizard. He finds the last set of Master Bracers, and he can either become a Desteron or he can become a Cybertron, depending on which of the Master Bracers is on top when he crosses his fists and says Master Force. So I was slightly disappointed that this doesn't come with Cloud or Godmaster. It comes with sort of this bit here, but I'll show that off in a minute. There doesn't seem to be anything in this figure that specifically refers to his Super God Master Force character. It looks pretty much the same, but it is slightly different in some ways. Now, a few years ago, in the Western Titans Returns part, I was getting all my figures from Japan because I wanted the cartoon counterparts, and the Hasbro versions weren't giving us that. They were giving us I think it was the toy versions. So when I bought Kickback, it did come with a Clouder Headmaster. And when I knew that this guy was coming out, I thought, oh great, at last, I can use that Clouder head. But no, you can't take this head off. And I'm really frustrated by that, because I have a Double Clouder head that I can't put on the Double Clouder figure, and I'm not at all impressed by that, Hasbro. This is why I wasn't particularly happy at the Hasbro and Takara unified line, because I knew this sort of thing would happen. But that's just that's a personal bugbear, so I will try not to whinge on about that too much. Okay, so now I've gone over that, let's have a look at the figure himself. So let me just move the camera a wee bit. Now, unlike the accessories, the figure is actually really well detailed and very nicely painted. So you can see his face there. Let me get in there. So it's quite nicely done. It looks more or less like Double Clouder. The Headmaster that I have is a lot more accurate. This one is more accurate to what we've seen in the Earthrise cartoon. I don't know if this is accurate to the G1 toy because I don't have one. But it looks quite good. It's nicely sculpted, and he's got some red for his eyes there. This front section here does flip down, and the idea with this is that you could buy I mean, they're calling them Godmaster. They're not Godmasters, Power Masters, but they're not. They're basically cassettes. They're like Soundwaves cassettes, and I think they were the Generation Selects, and I haven't seen them here, and I'm not going to go looking for them because they don't appeal to me. But the idea is you can put them in there, and that's supposed to be like a Godmaster type thing. I don't really know how that's working, but this is the actual Godmaster piece. And as you can see, it's just like his abs. So, I mean, it does at least look like an engine. So that's, you know, that's okay. I think that's fairly accurate. But that just sits there. But you can't swap it out. It's just that one. So there's that. And as you can see, it's got some nice paint all around this chest area, which is much appreciated. And there's quite a lot of nice detail going all the way down the figure, and I'm really glad that we've got this in this line and not like Power of the Primes, because this all would have been stickers and they just look horrible. So this is all painted and moulded detail, so you know that's one good thing. So. And there's some hollow bits, but then that's necessary for transformation. So, and you can see the beast mode wings just folded up at the back there. Right, so let's get down to articulation. So the head is fully attached as far as I can see. I can't get it off anyway. But it just rotates. It doesn't seem to be on a ball joint. It just sort of rotates and it goes up and down. I don't know if it is on a ball joint. It doesn't seem like it is. You can't really get much out of it. Look up, not really very much, and you can look down, not really very much. So there's not much going on there. You can rotate the elbow here. It doesn't go up and down at that joint, but it does go up and down underneath. And this is where I start having issues with my figure. It's quite loose in quite a lot of places, and it's slightly frustrating. So he does have rotation at the bicep. He has double joints in his elbows, mainly for transformation, but I mean you can use it. So it does go all the way up. And there's rotation at the fists. He doesn't have waist rotation as such, it's more like a hip rotation. It's all the way down here, but it does rotate there. His legs will go out that far to the front, that far to the back, out to the side. Does have some rotation, but not a great deal because they're basically just squares, but it's not too bad. This bit's a bit of an issue for me. This bit's very loose here. You can actually use that if you want to. It's for transformation, but you can use it because it doesn't clip in anywhere. It's just very loose. He doesn't have a knee joint as such. He's got, well, I suppose you could call that a knee joint, but it just seems a bit low. Maybe it's just the way I'm looking at it. No, it probably is a knee joint. Let's go with it being a knee joint. But it will go to there. And then his feet don't go front and back. I mean, the back bit does, but the front bit doesn't. That's for transformation. But you can't move the toes. But he does have some tilt. So he's pretty well articulated. And this is the first figure that is actually a leader class figure, and not a Voyager class figure packed with a load of guff to make it look like a leader class figure. So yeah, that's an improvement. Now, as I said in the original Super God Master Force cartoon, he can be either a Cybertron or a Destron. At the minute, obviously, we've got the Cybertron or Autobot symbols. But if you did want him to be a Destron or a Decepticon, you can flip these panels down, like so. And he becomes a Destron or a Decepticon. Wasn't really a big thing in the cartoon. It was more whichever alt mode it was going to be. But we'll get to that when we get to that. Right, one more thing I have to point out for the robot mode is if you want to add this piece, you can. There are 2 pegs here, and they will just fit in to these 2 slots here, and it just goes in like that. It's a little bit tight, but it's not too bad. And then you can just fold these 2 pieces down to the sides like so. So that just sits there on his back. So there's that. Weapon wise, wants to fall over now. Pardon me. I've got a bit of a frog in my throat today, so apologies if I cough a couple of times. Try not to. Right, yes, so you can take this piece and you can just pop it on either one of his shoulders, doesn't matter which, it'll go on there. It is slightly hampered by this peg here, so it doesn't go all the way in, but it's you know, it will sit there. It's doesn't go in too far. It'll go in further if you don't have this piece on, but I'm just going to leave that on for a minute. You can take this small gun and you can place it in his shoulder here. This camera flash you can place here, and then these 2 missile pods you can place on his legs here. It says to do it this way around. I don't know if that's accurate for whatever kind of missiles these are supposed to be. I don't really do military vehicles, especially not. I think this is some sort of American one, so I don't really know. Yeah, so I'll just, that's the way it says to do them in the instructions, so that's the way I do it there. So yeah, that's that, and then you can give him the rest of the gun, which he will hold. He holds tightly, but this is the problem. He's got, okay, yeah, okay. If I put it that far up, it will hold. But if you want it to hold, if you want him to hold it anywhere else, no. And that's exactly the same in his left hand as well. He's got absolutely no friction at his elbow joint. It is just loose. Actually, he doesn't want to hold that either in his hand. Hold it. There we go. It's a little better on this arm. It does take a little longer to go down, but it will fall eventually. It's just, there's not really much going on there. It's going to call me a liar now, look. Yeah, it's not great. It's not great in either arm. And you can see as I'm moving him around, he's floppy. He's really floppy on those legs. It's horrible. There's no stability in those legs at all, and it's a real shame because this was one of those figures I really wanted, because I wanted him for my Super God Master Force collection, and it's just there's always something with Hasbro, isn't there? There's always some sort of disappointment with Hasbro, and of late it's either been you can't get them in the UK, or if you can get them, they're flipping floppy like a ragdoll. Look at this. This is not acceptable, Hasbro. I know that's going to fall off and on. So anyway, there you go. Alright, let's get to transformation. I'm going to go from here into his beast mode first, which would be the Destron or Decepticon alt mode. So let's get to that. So assuming that this missile piece has already fallen off his shoulder, you want to take the little gun off, the camera flash, and these 2 missile launchers, and if you haven't already moved these panels up, you have to, because it won't transform with the panels flipped down, so you just need those up there like that. Right, what you want to do now then is you want to bring this arm forward to this position, pull this wheel section down, and there's a slot on the back of the arm that tab there will go into. You need to crook the arm so that will just fit in there, and then flip the hand up. So the arm wants to be in that position. Let's do the same on the other side. Bring that out, bring the wheels down, flip that in, so. Flip the hand up. The instructions do say to lift these little feet up at this point, but I will end up knocking them down again, so I'm just going to leave them down there. Now this is the part I find really awkward, so apologies if I mess this up. Oh, I also forgot you need to take this piece off the back as well. It will probably fall off if you leave it on anyway. But now what you're supposed to do here is you need to flip the feet out like that, and then there is a large tab just here, and then that is going to go in this slot here. And to say that this is slightly frustrating is an understatement. So let me see if I can get this right. So you need to bend it to this point, and if you come round this side, see there's a tab just here. It's on the knee section, that black piece there. That's supposed to end up in there. So you need to bring this bit all the way around and just give it a good wiggle, and then that is supposed to fit in there. And then you just carry on folding this up so the whole lot basically collapses into there. I'm sure they could have found an easier way of doing this, because to me this is frustrating. And I've made it look easy this time, but I tell you, this is my 4th take on this. Shh, don't tell anyone. And then that tab will hopefully fit in that slot that I previously pointed out. There we go, that holds that in there. Then you do the same with the other side. So bring that round, bend it up, push it over. Oh, wait, got it the wrong way. Push it over. And bring the whole thing up this side. And then you can tab those 2 pieces together as well. 2 large tabs just go in that small hole, and a larger one down there. And then that should plug in there. Now it's really fiddly, and I'm sure there must have been an easier way to do this. And it's popped out this side. This was the problem I've had every single time I've tried to do this. It just keeps popping out. You get one side in, the other side pops out. I do not care for this transformation at all. You can see where it's supposed to go, it just doesn't want to go. Hold on a sec. Right, sorry about that. I needed to not be stretching around the camera to get it to work, but you can see it's plugged in there like that. I don't know why I find that so difficult. You can see where it's supposed to go. It's just there seems to be a lot of forceful compression going on. I don't like that at all. Alright, so we're at this point now. What you want to do now is you want to flip this piece down, and what's going to happen here is you need to lift this bit up, and you can see there's a little notch in it. So you flip this down and it just rests, doesn't tab in anywhere, but that is going to come over and just hold that piece in place. There's a lot of very strange tabbing and clipping going on in this figure. Yeah, it's a very odd figure. Then what you want to do is you want to finish bringing these arms all the way around like so. And again, nothing tabs in, they just hold in, but that is quite hard. That is quite a solid, it's quite a tight joint there, so it's not too much of a problem. Just bring this out of the way. Then you want to unfold these wings, just flip this down, flip it out, and then rotate it out like that. And then the same the other side, fold it all the way out, bring that out. Now what you want to do is you want to flip this panel out, and this is independent, it just opens on this part here. So you flip this out, and then what you're going to do is you are going to rotate this whole thing round like so, and then you're going to push the head into this cavity. So if you can see, it's a little awkward to show on the camera, but you just want to push it all the way around. Rotate the head, the eagle head, so that it's facing this way up, or else it won't fully rotate all the way around. And again, this catches, don't know why there isn't enough clearance, but the top of his head catches on that bottom panel, which is a bit frustrating. And then you want to close this panel back down, and that large tab will go in that hole behind the eagle head, like so. And then this eagle head is on a joint that you just want to rock forwards and down to give it a proper neck. And then you can open the little beak. And I don't know why, there's a little tab there, sorry. I don't know why a bird has got teeth. I'm not even going to question that. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to know. And at this point, everything's popped out. You can just bring the feet down like so. What's happened there? Why has that gone like that? Okay, that's right. And you can do the feet like that, and that is basically the eagle mode. Now to finish this off, let me just push this back a little bit, get it in camera. To finish this off, you are going to need this tail section, the gun and the missile part, and you want to slide the gun barrel into the back of the missile. You need it in this orientation, so that just slides in there, and that will hold in on a friction joint. And then what you want to do here is you need to put this peg into this hole like so, and you would think that the smaller peg would fit into this hole, but on mine at least, no, it doesn't. So yeah, that's a bit annoying. And then what you want to do here is this black clip here is going to go over this piece here. And again, I found that clearance is an issue. So let's see if this will work properly this time. It's a bit tight as well. And then that goes on like that, and then you can just bring those pieces down like that. I don't know if that is the correct orientation. Something seems to be slightly skew-if, and I don't quite know why, but it does rather look like he's about to shoot himself in the back of the head. And then lastly, basically you just want to flip this thing out of the way. Just pop it by there. And that is the Eagle mode. And I don't think it looks wonderful, and it doesn't seem to fit properly in places. I think it looks better than the robot mode. It certainly seems to hold together better than the robot mode. So I think it will be my default mode. You can now give him all these extra bits. I mean, where you put them is completely up to you, obviously. But I believe the configuration, let me just check, one sec. I've forgotten which way they go. So you put the small gun in one hand, the camera flash goes in the other. I'm going to keep calling it that because I've no idea what it is. You put the camera flash in the other, so they are like that, and then where is it that they go? Oh yeah, the missiles go underneath the wings in that position there. I don't know, I'm going to put them that way around because I think they look a little bit better. So yeah, so that's the Eagle mode. Yeah, like I said, I actually quite like the Eagle mode. I think it looks pretty good. As I said, I don't have the G1, so I don't know I don't have anything to compare it to, so I don't know if it's an improvement. I mean, I would hope it would be. It's 35 years worth of engineering difference, so I would hope it would be slightly different at least. Articulation in this mode, not really very much. You can move the eagle head and you can move the lower jaw, so you get some there. The wings will move up and down, and they're on a ratchet joint as well, so it's quite nice. You can also move them in if you want, so if you want him flying and he's maybe doing a sort of a dive bomb thing, you can do that. And you can flip the wingtips up if you want to. So you get a little bit there. There's not really very much you can do with this tail piece. Like I say, it's sort of properly holding on there. I don't know if I've done something wrong there, but I've done it via the instructions, but just something doesn't seem quite right. And that's about it. You can't really do much else. I suppose you can move the feet a little bit, so you could have the feet sort of, if you were doing that dive bomb mode, you could have the feet facing forwards a bit, but that's about it. There's not really very much else you can do with that. You can, of course, move the weaponry around, you know, if you wanted it in a different way, but that's basically it for the eagle mode. I love the colour. I love the difference between the dark green, the light blue, and the sort of lilac purple colour. I think it looks really nice. So yeah, thumbs up for the eagle mode. So next we'll get to the big ass gun mode. I don't know what you call it. Somebody's gonna know, and they're gonna say, oh, it's a so and so, but I don't do military vehicles, so I don't know. It's some sort of big missile launcher thing. So we'll get to that. Right, so we're going to go from the eagle mode into the missile carrier mode. I think that's what it is. So you want to take this off. Just unclip this from here. This does actually clip on really tightly. So you can take that off there and you can just remove that. So we'll leave that because we're going to need that. So we'll leave it like that. You want to take off all the bits and bobs. Take all of those off again. And basically what we're doing is we're going to go pretty much back into the robot mode. So you need to flip this panel up again so we can flip the head out. So go that far, push the eagle head back, turn it to the side so it will fit in this hole. And then that's that. Fold that down. Fold the wings back in. You can sort of fold the wings up completely. This is the way it was out of the box, but I think the instructions want you to have that down. So I'm going to leave that like that for a minute. So just leave those. Actually, I've done that the wrong way. You do need to put them that way or else they won't fit flush. So just leave that up like that. Now you want to basically put all this back, so you need to untab the arm sections, put the feet down, just leave that like that for now. Take that out, put that down. You can leave the hands folded in. We're going to do that for now because we need to get all this stuff out of the way. What we need to do now, you can unpeg that. You don't need to put it back because we are going to need it. So what you want to do now is this needs to come down a little way. So you need to unplug the really difficult bit that we had getting in there. And then you just need to sort of pull it down. And it's awkward because it wants to just re-tab in everywhere. What you want to do is you want to have this all the way out. So you want the legs completely stretched out like so. That same tab that we had trouble, well, that I had trouble getting in up here, is going to tab in to, I'm not sure if it's this one or this one, but it tabs into one of these. Oh, it's the larger one at the top. So you just want to tab that into there. And again, it's fiddly. It's fiddly because it's floppy. If it wasn't so floppy, it wouldn't be so flipping hard. Now, again, it's just awkward. Everything's awkward. Right, I'm going to leave that for a minute. Pop that back down. It's going to come out again anyway in a minute. Right, this top piece we want to bring up, rotate around, and then once we've got this working, actually, no, let me struggle with this. Let me struggle with this. Let's get it in. Okay, that's that side. Let's get this side in. No, hold on. I'm going to do this bit off camera. Just a sec. Sorry about that. Got it. Yep. It's just awkward. It's too awkward for me to do it at arm's length. Sorry about that. But you can see it just sort of goes in there and there. Right, where were we? Yes, so that bit needs to fall forwards, and these two small tabs here are going to go in these small slots here and here. That is basically what's going to keep that all in place, because there is nowhere that these plug into. It just rests there. Which is another thing that really bothers me about this figure. There's very few places where things tab in. Right, anyway, now that we've got that done, what you want to do is you want to flip these wheel sections down, like so. Do the same on that side. We'll just bring this out of the way for the moment, and then you want to do some folding and tabbing. And basically what we're doing here is, let me find the right orientation. Right, you want to rotate the arm this way, and then if you rotate it all the way around this way, this hole will marry up with this tab, like so. And then, no, sorry, you want it this way around. So it's like this. And then you just fold that, not that bit, just that bit, all the way over like that. And again, it doesn't tab, it just rests in that position like that. So then you do the same on the other arm. So you just tab that tab into that hole. Hopefully. Come on, you little monkey, you've been fighting me all flipping review. Come on. Why? Why? There we go. Right. And then flip that once again all the way around like so, and then you end up with that. Now you want this in this position, so covering up his head. You can rotate the head if you want, but it doesn't really matter at this point. So let me just get in a bit closer here. Oops. Oh, sorry. There we go. Right, then you want to take this section again, and this piece goes, let me see, yeah, these two go in these two holes here, and that wants to be that way around, I believe it was, like so. And then you flip that piece up, and that basically just covers the head. These pieces you rotate, and it's basically like those bits you see on a crane, you know, the stabilizers on a crane. So that goes like that, and then you want to take this part and you tab it into this section. I think that's the right way, or is it? No, it's further down. Apologies, it's further down. It's like that. There we go. So you can either have it in this sort of base mode, where I guess it's I guess it's ready to, you know, fire, like so. And this bit you can add on to ironworks or, you know, whatever. whatever other figure you've got that's got this connector. Or you can have it laid down like this, and then you bring up that tail feather piece again, and these pieces just rotate upwards like so. So there's the missile carrier mode, and yes, it looks quite good. I think of the 3 modes, this is probably the most successful. I don't really care for the robot mode, which is unfortunate. So you can take these other pieces once again, just plug them into the hands, so the flash will go in that one, that little gun will go in there, and then these little pieces you can put anywhere you like, really. I think it's, let me just check, they're meant to go on the side pieces there. So that one there, and that one there, and that's it. He's now all armoured up, and you really don't want to be fighting with him, do you? Yeah, so articulation in this mode, I mean, basically you've seen it. It's moving this bit up if you want it up, or moving it down if you want it down, and using that tail feather piece that I've just pulled off. Get in. Get in. There we go. And then you can, you know, just move these pieces however you want them. There's not really any other articulation in this mode unless you just sort of, you know, move the arms or whatever out of position. Yeah, I think this mode looks really good. Like I say, I think it's probably the most successful mode, but me personally, I quite like the bird mode. There's nothing really any different to show in this mode. All the paint is the same. It does roll, so that's why they have the wings folded flat like that, because if you fold them up, then it's not gonna roll as well. But yeah, that's about it. I have just realised I did not do robot mode comparisons. Sorry, forgot. Right. Okay, let's do one in this mode then. Here's Studio Series Bumblebee from the Bumblebee movie, which I actually think that's pretty much... No, it wouldn't be, would it? Because that thing would be massive, wouldn't it? If it was real, it would be huge. Those ones you see in those military parades. So yeah, no, that's not a good scale, is it? But that's what size he is there. Yeah, what I'll do is I'll transform him back. I'll take a couple of pictures for comparison. So if you stay around, I mean it's nearly the end of the video now, but if you stay around till after this segment, then there'll be some comparison pictures. So I think that's it. I think that's pretty much all I have to say about this guy. I don't know, it's a mixed bag, I think. I'm glad I waited for him to go on sale. I don't think he's worth the original, what was he, 60 something quid asking price. I don't think he's worth that money. I don't think it's a good enough figure. I don't know. I'm there's just something about it I'm just slightly disappointed with. I think it's because he's so floppy. Nothing really tabs in. I mean, the front section tabs in, you know, there, but then it doesn't, there's nowhere holding this section to this section other than this piece here. Thankfully it is actually quite stable, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm kind of ambivalent with this one. I was hoping it would be a bit more Master Forcey, but it's no, it's not really. Yeah, so there you go. I got some New Kingdom stuff coming. Hopefully that'll be here tomorrow. So we'll take a look at those. Fingers crossed that they're good. I hope they will be, because we've got Cheetor, Black Arachnia, Rat Trap and Warpath. So stick around for those if you're interested in the Kingdom line. I'll be getting all the Beast Wars figures, so stay tuned to this channel if you're interested in those. So that's it for this. As always, thanks for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.
Fingers on plastic.